All right, everybody, thank you guys for joining us on this Saturday special. We really appreciate you. Some great games in the window today, and one of our favorite guests to bring on from DraftKings. You can catch him on the Gojo Show, our good friend Mike Golic Jr., or as they call him in the streets, MGJ. MGJ, what's up, man?
You know what? It always harkens me back. Marcus Spears, God love him, one of the great voices in this industry, calls me MG Jr. in that deep, low Southern drawl, and it gets me going. So you guys got me in the mood right now. We're ready to rock.
I wish Marcus could narrate my life throughout the day with his voice. Like him or Morgan Freeman, they would both be great.
Yeah.
They're like, Jake woke up pissed again. Yeah. Whatever. But all right, Mike, I want to dive into this. So we got some good games, some interesting matchups. One that stands out to me when I'm looking at the numbers is Oklahoma State plus 6.5 at home against Texas. Me personally, I don't think you'd be crazy to buy it up a point at 7.5 just to kind of cover your ass in the back end in case Texas scores a touchdown late. But Spencer Sanders, I know the defense isn't what it was last year, but man, their backs are against the wall, coming off a tough loss at TCU. How do you kind of feel about this game? Why is that number so big?
Yeah, I was a little surprised on that. I wasn't sure if it was just, buying back in on Quinn Ewers now that he's been healthy for the Longhorns again and how good that's looked. But I was also stunned because while the defense isn't what it was last year, you still look up front. And early in that game against TCU, I was down there last weekend. Those guys got after it. They make their presence felt. They get up and get their hands in front of footballs. So I would absolutely lean that way, especially for Oklahoma State at home. It's such a different animal, and for TCU, they were built similarly, but these pace and space teams that want to overwhelm you with time the way they do on offense, I still think that's a little bit too much disrespect for the Cowboys for me, and I'd definitely be with you on that.
Yeah, well, Mike Gundy's also past 40, and he's a man, so I don't expect
him to come in.
He is a man. He's past 50 now. He's borderline a grand man.
He's a grand man, which can mean multiple things, one of which I can explain on the show, the other of which we'll have to do off air. But Mike, also, we take a trip back to the SEC. This one was kind of wonky. LSU unranked, Ole Miss ranked in the top 10. Lines come out at first. Ole Miss is a 1-point favorite. You see the money pour in. You look up now, LSU's up to a 2-point favorite. I'm going to take him at -3 for plus money early, boys. At the end of the day, how do you see this game going? Because Jaden Daniels, Mike, actually used the deep third of the field against Florida, and it was like the pop-up book turned into a novel on offense, which is a good thing.
It's amazing. The rare instance where a players-only meeting actually bears fruit on the other side. Jalen Daniels
exactly right.
Together with the offense being like, I'm sorry for not throwing you the football. I will throw you all great wide receivers the football now. Yeah, this one, it's still a little stunning to me, though, just because Ole Miss is one of the remaining undefeateds in the SEC that we basically refuse to talk about in any sort of glowing terms, despite the fact that Lane Kiffin's got them back in that spot after going harder in the transfer portal than anyone out there. Part of me still, and it's limited action watching Ole Miss this year. Jackson Dart's not perfect, but at the helm of that offense, we see you don't always have to be perfect, especially because they want to beat you up on the ground. I think I'd like Ole Miss in this game. I'm not ready consistency-wise, and I know Brian Kelly, that's his hallmark. I played for Brian Kelly. His hallmark is consistency there. I think the LSU defense, while talented, still hasn't been consistent enough, and I think a lot of this is drafting off going against a Florida team that has, especially in the middle portion of this season, shown itself to be immature and inconsistent in its approach. So I'd go LSU on this, or excuse me, Ole Miss on this one. Words are hard in the morning. This pick for me will be a lot easier. I still would take Ole Miss. I'm not ready to buy in fully on Brian Kelly's LSU just yet.
Yeah, well, when you read multiple pages of a thesaurus every night like you do, MGJ, it's going to be hard in the morning to get them out. That's why you're a scholar and a gentleman, and was a hell of a player. I think, if LSU hadn't played so bad against Tennessee at home, I would feel a little bit different. I just feel like LSU has something to make up for to that fan base, and that the ripple effect of this game, whoever wins this game, both these teams host Alabama here in the recent weeks. So you could legitimately be setting yourself up with a chance at home to clinch the SEC West. It's going to be
night game, too.
Yeah, night game.
Death Valley. 11 o'clock.
We fired up, boys. Mike, let's go to the alma mater for a minute. Notre Dame, now 3-3. We've known about the loss to Marshall, but now they add another loss to Stanford. This is not a good Stanford football team. They lose 16-14. Look, Marcus Freeman's a first-time head coach, right? First-time head coach. We knew there were going to be certain pitfalls, and he is recruiting well, so at least he can look to that. What are your thoughts right now? What are the thoughts amongst former players in the alumni base about Notre Dame right now?
The different who you talk to, there's a lot of the alumni base that is tasting their blood for the first time in a while, and they are not responding well to it. But like you said, I expected this with a first-time head coach, but also, I mean, let's be realistic about the roster. You have a backup quarterback starting right now who's gone out and played like a backup quarterback for the majority of the season. The communication and the ability to get on the same page with the wide receiver room hasn't been there. You turn on the tape and there are open touchdown throws that aren't being made either because young wide receivers aren't quite in the right position or a quarterback just can't make those throws consistently right now. So I know big number against UNLV this weekend. Notre Dame has not earned the right to be as big a favorite as they are at this point. So if you've got points coming from the other side like that, I think last I saw UNLV was like a 25-point dog in this game. Notre Dame has not proven to me that they can go out and beat a team that consistently that they are supposed to beat at this point. And for them, it's desperation time. They've got to get to 6 wins and be bowl eligible in this year. And with Clemson, Syracuse, and USC still on the schedule, those opportunities are limited, and this is one of them.
Up to a 27-point favorite now.
27 right now?
It's a lot of
Gotcha.
points.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, I'm very intrigued by this UCLA at Oregon matchup, mostly because UCLA is unbeaten right now. Oregon with the one loss, 49-3 in the opener against Georgia. But that line right now is, Oregon -6. UCLA, I mean, fighting for the Pac-12. I think the Pac-12 team is going to have to go undefeated, most likely, to get into the college football playoff. That run game with Zach Charbonnet and the gang really is working. What do you think about this line as it sits right now?
Yeah, a little too much for me. UCLA has earned my respect and then some, especially after watching them dispatch on a Friday night earlier in the season, a Washington team that has since shown some weaknesses, but I think had good bones, good coaching, Caleb DeBoer, and they ran right through them. Yeah. DTR and Zach Charbonnet, I think I heard this past weekend, Rob Saleh in the NFL refer to his defensive line as a bowling ball of knives. Yep. That's how I would describe the UCLA offense. It's fast and it's vicious, and it might not exploit you downfield in the passing game as much, but they're going to get up and they're going to give you something in every direction. It's the Chris Tucker rush hour. Which one of y'all kicked me? Because they're coming at you from all sides. And this Oregon defense, while good, I think hasn't shown itself as stout in the middle as I'd like. They had to make some structural changes. They were getting beat in the perimeter on a lot of those bubble screens early in the season. And I think 6.5 is too big for what this UCLA has proven. The team has proven themselves now 2 years in a row to be, because this was the identity shift last year for Chip Kelly's UCLA team. And it's carried over into this season in a big time way.
Yeah. You like Oregon in this one, right, Blaine? Or no?
I do. I got Oregon winning the Pac-12. I mean, the last thing I expected was to see an extremely physical UCLA team.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
And that's what they're turning into. So, I mean, surprise,
it's like an
surprise.
oxymoron. It's like
but I mean, Bo Nix, I mean, he's having fun.
Because even when Chip Kelly was at Oregon, it wasn't the physicality.
Yeah, I mean, well, I will say, the Natty year, they were a little more downhill, but it's never been like this. It's never been even close to this.
Yeah,
no, and that Oregon team, they've got good Bo Nix right now. You can accomplish a lot with a weaponized good Bo Nix. It's like positive. It's like good controlled nuclear energy. The problem is you can also get Chernobyl sometimes, and then things aren't so fun.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I know that firsthand. All right, let's go to the ACC, a matchup not a lot of people are talking about. Syracuse-Clemson. These games are always close. All right, I know it's at Clemson's, but these games are always close. I believe Clemson won by 3 last year. 13.5 points for Clemson. If it's me, I'm buying that up to 14.5. Do you see this being a 2-possession game, Mike?
No, I am stunned by this one. And just because, like you said, it's usually close. And we're talking about Garrett Schrader, who can throw the ball this year.
Yeah, I am Groot.
Like, this coaching staff has come in, and the offensive coaching staff that largely came over from Virginia has completely weaponized this guy in the backfield. And you match that with an offensive line that is, I think, good but not great. But, I mean, they get in front and give plenty of room for Sean Tucker, who's one of the best players in the country that we don't talk about nearly enough. That defense has been a consistent commodity for a while. And this is a Clemson team that's gotten loads better, right? DJU's doing a way better job pushing the ball downfield now. Ngata and those guys have finally started to realize some of what we thought potential and talent-wise in that group. But it's still not enough for me to say they're going to go and blast the doors off what's been a very consistent Syracuse team so far.
I agree. All right, let's go to the SEC. Alabama, Mississippi State. This game's at -21 Alabama. And I know Bama coming off a loss is a different beast. But Will Rogers is still the quarterback at Mississippi State, and Bama's secondary is suspect at best. Do you think Mississippi State covers the spread?
I think so. And I know it's a totally different attack than what Tennessee is going to bring, right? Because with Tennessee, it's all about speed. It's all about testing you on the perimeter that way. Obviously, Mike Leach's air raid is a lot more nuanced than that in the middle of the field. But like you said, I think it's just one quality on that side. You've also got a Mississippi State team that's a lot more willing to run the ball this year when you get some of those box looks, and that's always the decision you have to make. And Alabama's defense got tested in a real way on that last week and failed. I think as much as anything, too, it's the discipline that it requires from you. And Alabama was flagged, 17 times in that game last week? That's been a consistent trend for this team, for Nick Saban, which has driven him up a wall. And so, yeah, I know they're going to be able to score in bunches, and I am fully counting on Alabama to win this game, but that's too many points for me at this point with this particular Alabama team.
I tend to agree with you. I will say Mississippi State looked inept against Kentucky last weekend, and I was surprised by it.
That's kind of how they go, though. I feel like every once in a while, Mississippi State, it's very hot and cold for them.
Always
the hot tends to come at it's exactly. They're going to put up a dud. That's going to be the case because they're also with that offense. If you drop 8 enough times, usually good things are going to happen for the most part. But I will give, like you said, Will Rogers the respect that he's earned, especially having time in that offense. Once these quarterbacks get that handle of an air raid that's an easy install and a hard thing to master, he's getting close to the ladder.
Yeah, I've got a couple more I want to throw at you, a couple of small ones just to kind of see what you think about it. Army is a 6.5-point favorite at home against Louisiana Monroe. I know this isn't the best Army team we've seen. I know they've struggled, in some big games. But La Monroe they're very okay. I have a feeling that Army may blow the doors off this one. I just need somebody else to talk me into it. Mike, will you be that guy?
I'll ride with you on that one here. I'll do this mostly on the basis of friendship. Shout out to my friend Captain Cons, former Army quarterback.
We're all about friendship.
I'm going to support the troops, and I'm going to support friendship on this one. Also, just born out of my fear of the triple option. It haunts my dreams. People always lob that at Notre Dame like it's a negative on our schedule. I challenge anyone to play 2 triple option teams in a season and come out healthy enough to accomplish anything. I challenge anyone to do
No, I'm with you there 100%. Wake Forest, 20.5-point favorite at home against Boston College. Boston College is hooked on phonics on offense, and we know Wake Forest is NASCAR on offense. Do we feel like maybe Wake Forest may be looking ahead? This is one that I feel like I almost have to take.
Man,
it's a lot of points, I know, but Boston College can't score.
It's a lot of points. I'd probably be inclined to go with Wake Forest on that one, and the way you talk about BC wholly inept. And now that thankfully we've got the Sam Hartman show back this year, it was so weird trying to watch, and gave me a new appreciation for him. That Stanford offense that I understand just beat Notre Dame, but the fact that they're trying to run essentially the same stuff with Tanner McKee, and it just doesn't work the same because Sam Hartman is that special, and probably, I would say after last year, does get the respect he deserves nationally, but even so, it gave me a newfound appreciation for him. Ride him all the way.
Definitely. All right, Mike. By the way, everybody go check out the Gojo Show. They do a great job over there. I do want to play a little game that we talked about before. It's called One Phrase, One Word, okay? Basically, I throw a team to you. You can either describe that team with a phrase or one word.
Ooh,
the choice is yours. All right, you ready? I'm going to let you get in a good mental space. Okay. Tennessee.
Juicy.
Explain, please. Why juicy?
Well, one, just to play off like the entire Vol Orange, but also just, I think they're one of the most exciting things that's happened this season and could have happened this season because of what they represent, right? We're getting ready to expand into a college football playoff with more teams. People question parity, and now all of a sudden in year 2, you come in and slay the giant. Yeah. Albeit at home, I get the environment, I get this Alabama team and all that stuff. Right team, right time, very juicy storyline for us to sink our teeth into, not only this year, but for what it means in the future as the college football playoff expands.
I love it. Mine would be Backstreet's back. All right.
Backstreet's back. All right.
Backstreet's back.
Are we each giving a team to Mike?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Ole Miss. Give me a phrase.
Ole Miss.
Because last year I was told to get my popcorn ready, and I did so. And let's just say the movie left me wanting.
like the other guys.
Yeah, just like the other guys.
I ain't here for a long time, but a good time.
That's a perfect one.
We'll ride with it off that,
is
and we know
perfect.
that basically you're going to have players for about a season there, and then
That's exactly right. All right, Blaine.
Yeah, all right. I'm interested. What about Auburn?
Oh.
Oh God!
Somebody kill me,
make it terrible,
please.
Yeah, I would say that girl is poison. Maybe I'm not sure.
I love it.
I like
Shout out
that.
to those poor trees.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's
man.
just look. We're now just making sure they don't poison the mascot. But
I have one more.
All right, go ahead,
Because of the big debate on the show this week, I need to know here. Moon pies.
Oh, delicious.
Thank you. There
Really?
we go.
We
Pro
found
moon pie
one.
crowd.
Now,
There we
real
go.
question though: candy corn, yes or no?
Oh, that's a big yes for me.
Yo,
I've got
you
candy corn
guys are
extract.
monsters. Oh
Shout
my
out,
God.
shout out to the pumpkins. They've got a different texture. and
Would
they're
you like to
wonderful.
join me and Michael Knowles in the Stop Candy Corn Hate movement, please?
Now,
Guys,
all seriousness though, licorice.
as long as it's not black licorice, then yes. Can't
Okay.
do. My grandfather's the only
Acceptable.
person I've met who's enjoyed black licorice. I can't do
Okay.
that. By the way, did you guys know, and I don't know if this moon pies thing came up because of a game that you might have watched for South Alabama, but Mobile, Alabama is the largest consumer of moon pies in the world, and moon pies are the most coveted catch at the Mardi Gras parade.
Well, guess what, Mike? I went to South Alabama. That's my alma mater. Believe me, I know. And also, Mobile. Yeah, Mobile invented Mardi Gras.
So
They didn't invent
how
it in
are
New
you
Orleans.
guys-
It was invented in Mardi Gras.
We have to get you guys on the pro moon pie movement.
I just don't like them.
not
I'm not a
good.
marshmallow guy.
You don't like marshmallow.
I'm not a marshmallow guy. I'm sorry. I know they're not peaks. I know there's difference.
They don't even taste like a true marshmallow. Just
They have the marshmallow texture.
You're eating
Blaine.
Well, look, last time Mike came on here and said The Other Guys is a great film. He sided with you guys. Now he's saying moon pies are
right.
delicious. So
From a guy
there's
who went to high
commonality
school
here.
in Mobile, who's been to a lot of Mardi Gras parades, who's been hit in the face with a lot of moon
Oh,
pies.
I've been smoked.
I'm telling you,
with pies.
they're just not good.
Okay.
They're not good. I don't
good.
enjoy them.
Hey,
Maybe
our
As
I'll-
guest-
someone who has
our guest
willingly
has
smoked
spoken.
myself in the face with a bunch of moon pies, they're great. And you guys are wrong.
Oh, that's definitely.
it. I love
Well, people need to go smoke their own face with the Gojo Show, DraftKings over there with Mike Golic Jr., whatever that means. But MGJ, I really appreciate you coming on, my friend. Tell everybody when and where they can find your content.
Yeah, guys, make sure you check it out. Like they said, Gojo, wherever you get your podcast, 5 days a week. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. The DraftKings YouTube channel as well. And then catch me on the road on weekends. Learfield College Football Saturday Night Radio. We are going to be in Happy Valley this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, a little Minnesota Penn State action. Looking forward to it.
Hopefully they can be a little happier than the Valley was last week when they went to Michigan. I compared it to when you used to get spanked in the grocery store in front of everybody and you were old enough to be embarrassed by it. That's what it reminded me.
Yeah, it looks like you played your dad one-on-one in the driveway and pissed him off.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's why you don't talk trash early.
Exactly.
You never do it, like Georgia State. Anyway, appreciate you, MGJ. Make sure to check out Gojo Show everywhere you can find those. Check them out on Learfield. Big game in Happy Valley this weekend. Appreciate you, dog.
Thanks, fellas.